bring your stuff?
I don't think so, because the way it's gonna be designed, our
Can
cameras.
you find yours now?
Yeah.
Huh? My kid really does.
9 to 11 next Wednesday, August the 11th. It'll be on Facebook, but I just wanted to put it out there. On the 11th.
All of you on Zoom, go to your kitchens and get food. Good morning, how are you? I haven't seen you without a mask in a long time. You got it. Oh. I had one of my clients come in the office to go over contracts, and I have never seen him without a mask. And Pamela told me up front, she goes, your clients are here. I walked in and I kind of looked at, they're looking at me, and it's like you meet someone, you're not sure who that's it. Right. You know how you meet them when you listen to home, but you don't see them for a run. And I'd only seen them with a mask. I wasn't even sure it was them. Like, who are you? Yeah, who are you? What are you waiting for? All right, we're going to go ahead and get started while people are filing in, because I respect your time. I don't want you to be here a long time. I'm Chiero. I've met a lot of you. And I like sales, but I love teaching. It's my thing. If I could make as much money in teaching as I do in sales, I'd quit sales, but I can't, so I won't. I want to start today's class. First of all, thanking you for taking the time today, because I'm hoping you walk out of here a little more hopeful about your career you've chosen, and also the opportunity you have to serve clients. I want to introduce one of the newest members of my team is Chiero. And I'm going to have her talk to you about some of the efforts she's done using social media. But another reason I have her here is because I know when I teach these classes, it's very easy to think, well, of course you say that. You've got a 4,000 person database. Or of course you can say that because you've been in business for 25 years. And what I want to teach you today and emphasize today is that, yes, there is benefit in being in the business several years and having a deep database. But really the way you get there is still the fundamentals and the basics. And Carol's had a license how long?
7 months.
7 months. So I wanted.
Well, it's August, 8 months. 8 months.
And so I wanted Chiero to come talk with you, because one of the things Carol's made great strides in fact, I'm learning from Chiero, is in the use of social media. She recently won an award for being in the top 5 agents in Central Ohio for her social media efforts. And so I asked Chiero to come in, obviously to show you some of what she does, but probably more important than that is the work behind what she does. So that you can begin to see some of the components that go into building a business and beginning to build that database that you can follow up with. So go ahead, Chiero. This is Chiero Green's office.
Thank you. Yeah, so a little bit of background. Grew up in a small town, Troy, Ohio, north of Dayton. Went to OU for my undergrad down in Athens, and then I moved out to Chicago and was just in the corporate world for about 7 to 8 years. So I was doing healthcare consulting, analytics, finance, and then ended up in commercial real estate. Had my license in Chicago, but really just practiced the commercial side. So then my husband and I moved back here. He went to Olentangy, Ohio State, family's here, so we wanted to be closer to family. And I wanted to get started in residential real estate. But moving back here, yes, I went to OU. Yes, I grew up in Dayton, but I don't really know a ton of people at Columbus. And especially with the pandemic, not a lot of networking events were happening anymore. It's really hard to meet people because a lot of people, understandably, are just uncomfortable meeting in person. It's a lot of Zoom calls. So I felt like social media was my opportunity to grow my business and try and find people that way and really use that tool to my benefit. So a couple things, I'm just going to dive right in. First of all, who here uses social media? Raise your hand. Awesome. How many of you use Facebook primarily? Okay. Instagram. Any other platforms primarily? Yes.
TikTok.
TikTok, we got a TikToker. That's amazing. Okay, cool. So one of the things I wanted, that just helps me understand what platforms I'm going to be talking about today. So the first thing is picking your preferred platform. Especially when you're new, it's really hard to be good at all things and learn actual real estate and understand how to walk somebody through a transaction beginning to end, let alone manage social media. So I was immediately overwhelmed because I thought, okay, I need to have a good Instagram, Facebook, my LinkedIn, I have to have Twitter, YouTube, I have to have everything all the time. And that is not the case at all. Unless you have somebody managing all those platforms for you, it's really just ideal to choose one or two platforms because, well, I'll go into that in a second, but really just stick to one or two platforms. So I'm sure you guys have heard there's algorithms in Facebook, Instagram, social media. These platforms are built to keep you locked in. And so one of those things is that they measure your engagement. So commenting on other people's posts, sharing other people's posts. Like doesn't get as much engagement score that you'll never be able to track, but just know commenting and sharing on Facebook are the best things you can do. They also have a live, similar to Instagram, they have a live feed that's valid for 24 hours. So you guys can share things on your stories is what it's called. So just know that when you're commenting and sharing on other people's posts, then you're giving them engagement. So the example I like to use is Bo. If I were to go up to you and say, hey, can I have $10? You're a nice guy. You'll probably give me $10. But if I were to take you out to lunch and just get to know you a little bit, and then a week later I ask for $10, you're more comfortable giving me $10 because I've deposited in you. And that is kind of how you want to treat social media. If you're commenting on other people's, Mary's really good at commenting on other people. Kathy, if you see somebody else has a client, they just closed, congratulations, that's awesome. Somebody else, they bought a house with another realtor. Congratulations, that's awesome. Just engaging constantly. And I know that Mary's always gonna comment on my stuff, so I'm more likely to comment and engage on her. The more engagement you get on both ends, the more likely you're gonna pop up in someone else's newsfeed. So it's just one way to remember to beat the algorithm. It doesn't really matter how often you post or what you're really posting and which days, at what times. Like, of course, you want to post as much as you can, but it's really more about engagement and kind of just connecting with other people on social media. The next thing is providing value. So real estate is like a black hole. I swear, there's so much information, not even about the transaction. If you read a home inspection report, that's 40 different posts right there. Like, what is this crack? Is a horizontal versus vertical crack? What is this, good or bad? Here's 3 tips about if you were to see a crack in the wall, or whatever kind of information that you guys can share that gives enough that keeps them wanting to come back to your page. So not telling them everything you do, but 2 of the 10 things that you do. So providing value is one of the things that I've found has been really beneficial. I've had people ask me, oh, I saw you posted about cracks in the wall. What other things do you have about, I want to know about windows or whatever. So that's one that will keep people coming back. The other one is telling a story. So if I were to tell you guys my birthday's in May, some of you might be really good with birthdays and remember that. But if I were to tell you my birthday's May 2nd, it's 3 days before Cinco de Mayo, and ever since I was a kid, we've always done like a margarita, well, not as a kid, but but like tacos. I've always loved like Cinco de Mayo because it's just I love my birthday, and so it's just an immediate theme every year.
Don't forget, you Team Taurus.
Team Taurus, exactly, exactly. And so me sharing that story about, I've literally been pied in the face because we go out to so many like Mexican restaurants for my birthday, that's a story that's going to help you guys remember my birthday. So if I were to post a story about clients that I just closed on a house, I'm not just going to say congrats to Amy and Joe on closing their house. I'm going to say Amy and Joe, they put in 10 offers and their 11th one was the winning one. And they got really discouraged. Of course, I asked for their permission before doing this, but that if another buyer is reading that, they're going to see that first of all, they're going to remember that you posted it. They're going to want to know what the story was, how it ended. We're just naturally, our brains Am I talking too fast? I'm getting
No.
excited. Naturally, our brains are just wired to remember by storytelling. So that's one thing to try and remember. If you guys are posting, just take an extra 2 minutes to share. Kathy, a couple months ago, posted a cool wallpaper that she found in a really old house. And all she did was post a picture of the wallpaper and say, this house was built in blah, 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 blah here, and this was really cool wallpaper. That's enough to remember her. The other thing is of please try to remember to do a mix of business and personal. I know you guys know there are people that just post all business, here's a listing, here's a listing, here's a listing, looking to buy or sell, call me, listing. Well, I'm not a realtor, even as a realtor, it gets old. It gets overwhelming and I don't really care anymore. So it's really good to have a balance of business, professional, and personal. If you're comfortable sharing pictures of you, your family, it just helps people get to know you better. So I'll post a picture of a closing I did, and then I'll post a picture of me and my husband out getting ice cream, tag the ice cream place. And okay, we know Carol, we know she likes going out, we know she likes ice cream. So it just gives these little tiny deposits in their mind of they're already subconsciously building up an idea and a comfort level of who I am. And so then when they think, oh, I want to sell my house, oh, well, I know Carol, she loves ice cream. I love ice cream. Let's reach out to Carol. So it's just a really good reminder to try and mix it up between business and personal.
I have a question. So with
Yes.
the ice cream comment, you post that on your business Facebook page?
I do because my business page doesn't have as much engagement as I want it to. So what I do is I'll post it on my business page and then I'll go on my personal and share it on my business page on my personal. Because I know there's still some people that follow me personally that don't follow my business page. So you can do it that way. Yes, questions?
And it pushes out to anyone that does follow your business page. So
Okay.
it'll give them a notification that you posted.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, just so you
No, there are 1,000 tips and tricks. So like, please, like if you guys have any other comments, things you've seen that have worked, like please share. That's
If
super
it's like a really good ice cream spot, like if it's the Graders headquarters that used to be out Bethel, you go there and you take a picture of the mixing bowl and they're pouring the chocolate, and then you post it to your business page. It pushes to everybody that's already following you. And then if they share that post, it's sharing your business
just
page.
another notification.
And then it's so like if you go live from your business page, it says Nathan Price, Greater Columbus is going live. And then they get a notification you're live and they click on it just because it's a notification, so they click it.
Mhm.
Wait, how is it live on the business page?
If you can go live from a business page too.
Just like from your personal.
Yeah, and then it gives them a push notification rather than just being, they can have their regular notifications off, but if they have their business page, it
Yeah.
pushes because it's a page notification that they like. So
Yeah.
it's just, and to your point.
Yeah. And the main one, the reason I wanted to share, I put in all caps, is consistency. That's like the baseline of any successful business. If you read any business book, you'll understand that consistency is the key to success. So whatever you want to do, Mary, for example, she has a really, sorry I'm putting on your spot today, but you post a lot of positive quotes. That's your thing, and you're consistent with it. And it doesn't really, I'm not tracking like, oh, she
Today's really helps me.
yeah, right? But it's not about, I'm not tracking how often you're doing it. I just remember, oh, Mary's doing this. She's always consistent with positive quotes. So as long as you're consistent with whatever platform you guys want to use, that's key. So you really don't want to, I'm trying not to overwhelm you with all the information and coming up with a plan. It's really just whatever you feel comfortable with, staying consistent with that. The next thing is talking about captions for just one hot second. This kind of goes into what I was just talking about. I'm a stickler for captions. And so when I see the market's crazy in Columbus, okay, we know that. Everyone knows that. So instead, maybe try, here's 4 ways that buyers can win in this market. Kathy has 10 in her book, but at least tease them with the 4. Congrats to my buyers who closed today. Instead of that, maybe try, Amy and Paul closed on their first house. They shared with me, they met on a blind date, they talked about their dream home, and 5 years later, they found it. Again, that's just that storytelling aspect and helping them remember what you do and connect with the people that just closed on the house. The last one, looking to buy or sell, call me now. This is one of my biggest pet peeves because if somebody was looking to buy or sell, they would call you. So that's redundant. I feel like I want to come at it from an approach of gratitude. I'm grateful to get to do what I love every single day. This career is one of the most difficult but rewarding for me and my family. I'm honored to work with some amazing clients. Thank you for trusting me. This is something that just taps into that emotional side of people following you and helps them just feel like, okay, Carol's more, it just gives them another opportunity to remember who you are. Okay, and then the last thing is just a couple more tips. So especially with TikTok being a thing now, a lot of platforms, Instagram, Facebook, have really tried to get videos to be the top when it comes to algorithms. So you can post a video and you can post a picture and your video is just naturally gonna get more views. It's because they sort that to be all the other content to engage and basically inform people, please use more videos. We wanna compete with TikTok. So any videos you can have, just, I'm gonna, after this class, just do, hey guys, I'm with Kathy, we just did a training. If you have any questions, let me know. 4 seconds, 5 seconds, post on your Facebook. That's all you need to do. Natural photos are better than staged or stock. So again, people really respond to, if it's just a picture of me and John getting ice cream or me and Kathy posing in front of the screen. I can't explain the science behind it, but our brains are just wired naturally to remember that and feel like that's more relatable versus a picture of me, a picture of just a stock photo. They've seen it before, they're not gonna remember it, and it doesn't really give them an opportunity to connect with you. I'm almost done.
I'm in no hurry.
Okay.
Just standing instead of sitting.
Okay. Tag people to get more exposure. So another way to beat the algorithm or just work with the algorithm is anytime I post, I'll tag Kathy, I'll tag Mary, I'll tag people on our team, I'll tag my coworkers, I'll tag our group, I'll tag the buyers that I work with or the sellers. So that is gonna, sometimes Kathy's posts don't always pop up first thing in my news feed. So it's good for, I'm gonna get a notification like he was talking about saying, oh, Kathy tagged you in a post. You're really good about that, like the class that you're teaching today. And that allowed me to go to the post, like it, comment, and share it, and tag other people to just bring more engagement. Planoly, I wanted to throw this on here, but I wanted to give this advice with caution. There are some tools that you can use to basically plan out your social media content. So you can put everything on a grid with the pictures, with the caption, and say, I want to post this. You can post this one Tuesday at 4, this one Friday at 4. But for whatever reason, the algorithm doesn't work with those planning tools as much as you organically posting. So I don't personally use it because I'd rather have the algorithm work for me. I have an Excel spreadsheet. I put that week, every week I sit down, I plan what I'm going to post, the caption, the pictures, and then I just once a day, whenever I go in to engage with people for 20 minutes, I do my post. But that is available if you guys just feel overwhelmed and you'd rather just do it that one day a week and then have it pushed out for you. Canva, I know we're doing a training on Canva in a couple of weeks. That is a tool that basically has really cool templates. You can do videos, pictures. It's like $12 a month. And I should have put a picture of what it looks like or what I've created with it. But you can do basically like really cool images with a house in the background that says 4 ways to beat the market as a buyer or whatever. And it's very user friendly. And I know a lot of people use that tool. Hashtags, use as many as you can. I think the max is 30, but use as many as you can and make them relevant. Don't do hashtag real estate because there are, you can see when you search the hashtag how many other millions of people are using that. Your post is going to get lost. So do hashtag Columbus real estate, hashtag Columbus, Ohio realtor, hashtag Columbus living, hashtag 614 living. There's so many hashtags that you can use. And a lot of people in my generation, I've tried to ask people, how do you find realtors these days? They say through people that they know, they'll ask their parents or they'll search on social media. And they'll literally search hashtag top realtor Columbus or Columbus top realtor or best realtor. And it'll populate your posts. And so that's why hashtags exist. And if you want to do hashtag the Kathy Chiero group, that keeps all, you can search that hashtag and it'll populate everything that Kathy's ever posted with that hashtag. So you really want to make sure you're using those to your benefit and not just doing hashtag house, I love to sell houses. The last one is just follow, engage with your colleagues. If you guys follow me on Facebook or Instagram, I will follow you right back. Everyone in this room, there's 25 people in here. If you follow each other and engage with each other, comment, share, that's just helping each other out in the algorithm. And it's just an opportunity to get to know each other better. And so this is right here. It's really hard to grow your following. So if you can just take a moment after class and ask people, what's your Instagram handle? What's your Facebook business page? All like yours, you like mine. It's a win-win. So really we have how many agents in this office? 300, I think. Just trying to, anytime you're in the office, it sounds cheesy, but asking people what their social media is, hey, I'll follow you if you follow me. I'll leave you a review if you leave me a review, type of win-win. Then that's another opportunity that you guys can help grow your social media. Okay, I'm done.
Work. This is wonderful, and Carol's wonderful at it. What does it take every day to do this? To stay consistent and to do it well?
Now I'm at a point where I can spend an hour every Sunday planning for the week. And I take things that have happened, stories I want to share, clients I want to talk about, and I probably spend about an hour, hour and a half to plan everything. And then every day I probably spend about 30 to 40 minutes going on people's platforms, sharing, commenting, and trying to engage. But I have spent the last 7 months every single day doing all this research to begin with. I would spend hours, and it's really easy to fall down the rabbit hole, but it is a lot of work and research trying to figure out how to beat the algorithm and how to get people to see your face, because that's the ultimate goal. So I don't know if that really answers your question, but the goal is to eventually not have to spend as much time as possible doing it, right? But I would say several hours
I
a
got a
week.
question for you. So
Yes.
what if somebody that already has like 10,000 followers?
Yeah,
or Something like that.
yeah,
So I gotta be followed.
yeah,
So it's just, like you said, because a lot of times when I do hashtag, I will put like real estate. So
Yeah.
now that was good that you just said like 6 months before, like 6 months forward.
right.
Yeah.
If you know you want to do the same hashtags too, you can go and make like a Google Doc with all the hashtags you want to use. When you go to make your post, you
Oh,
can
yeah,
copy and paste it. So that way, every single time you make your post, just like you said,
Consistent.
if you're 20, 30 minutes. So like, I do all my engagement in the morning.
Yeah,
Like, there's a 20-minute section where I sit down and I just like, I hit my top 15 or 20 and I just comment like, if I see someone buy a new car, I'm like, I saw it the other day, I thought it was you now, so you look like Batman or something like that. But if all my engagements between like 6:30 and 7 every single day,
mhm,
I'm sitting there, it's my dedicated time when I'm on social media. But it's just like, if you're not gonna make a post that day, just engage with the people and like hype up your fellow people, like, you know, an old team you're on, you know, you can be like, hey, I'm glad you guys are killing it, you know, doing great. I'm glad to see everyone's doing happy and healthy.
yeah,
So,
One of the things that I really want to hammer on this, because we'll talk about it when I talk too, is the consistency. How many of you have ever pulled up somebody's page and the last post was December of 2018? You know, they tried, you know, they
Yeah.
went to a class like this and got all excited and tried, but that actually ends up working against you because someone pulls it up and they, oh, she must not be in business anymore because of that. So this, making it a part of your day, making the consistency a part of your day is critical. If you're not going to do that, don't start. Because again, you end up hurting yourself more if you do it half-heartedly. The other thing that Carol said that I want to emphasize is there are 30 of us in this room. There are 8,000 of us in Central Ohio. If you don't stand out, you don't stand out. And so, you know, if I see one more picture of two people with a mask on at a closing table, I will throw my computer across the room. That everybody does that.
mhm,
So why not, instead of that, take a picture in front of the house they're gonna, take a picture of them standing. I took one picture once of people standing like this, looking at an old kitchen, and I said, congratulations to Mary and Chuck. Today they start remodeling the kitchen. You know, and so again, to tell the story, I had a post And by the way, I'm horrible at social media. I pay somebody to
You're
do
not
it.
at that.
But one thing I am very good at is storytelling, because that's the way I think. And I had a post once that had a family of 4 with a baby on the mom's hip. And instead of saying this family's been looking for a home for a year, I put when we started, that baby was in Amy's belly. And so, and that got 300 likes for some reason, because it engaged the person wanted it. And by the way, I don't think I ever said, call me to sell your home or call me to buy. Just by telling the story, they know who you are. They know what you do. So again, the emphasis on storytelling not only engages the consumer, but it sets you apart. What I would say is watch what your other realtors are doing. And if you see 10 of them doing it, don't do it, because you're falling into the pool of what everybody else is doing. You've got to be different. You've got to stand out. And the way you do that is by your stories are unique to you. Your client, you know what I do, because it's the way I think. When I'm showing houses, I'll be in the middle of showing houses, and one of my clients will say something like, you know, oh gosh, I could never sit on a toilet that somebody else sat on. All the toilets need to be replaced. Well, okay, that starts a story in my head. When we close, I'm going to tell the story about finding the home with perfect toilets, and or something like that. So part of it is being very purposeful and realizing that as you are doing your job, you have to be purposeful to be creating the story while you're with these people. And as Carol said, of course, with their permission, to say, look, remember when you said that? Can I tell that story? You know, and they always say yes. They'll do it. But it engages the consumer. It engages your following without saying, call me to buy or sell. They, by nature of you telling a story in your profession as a real estate agent, you become the one that they brand as the realtor. And again, as I told Carol, when I asked her to do this, I know how much work she put into this. It wasn't just seeing what other realtors do and throwing a picture on a Facebook page. It was really learning how that works and learning how to do it well. So any other questions for Carol before we start on the lead generating?
Great job.
Great job. Thanks, Carol.
Thank you.
You know, I need to ask you, what has been the feedback? Like, what have you gotten from this?
Okay, so I've gotten, I think, 3 clients this year through social media. And I've been doing it for 7 months. So I've learned from the people I've talked to with social media, you really can't, it's hard to get a gauge on how fast you're going to get clients, but I've heard the year mark, after the year mark is when you really start to get people that you don't necessarily know. So they might not even come through your connection. I've had complete strangers reach out to me on social media. So yeah.
Like I had a client that I'm trying to get for the group now. She had said something about, I didn't know her from Adam. She had said something about buying a house on one of her statuses, and one of my friends, we were friends, had commented my name, and then she messaged me. So
Perfect.
it's also like, you know, that outreach from your people too, as long as they know what you're doing, and, you know, you stay consistent, then it'll overflow,
Exactly.
and they'll recommend you to other people as well.
All right, thanks, Carol. Okay, I want to talk today about lead generation. And by the way, because I am 62, social media is essentially brand new to me. But in fact, my son told me 3 months ago that I was not following myself. So I needed to do that. I do recognize the value in it. I do recognize and practice the points of it because it is a part of lead generation. But what I'm going to tell you today is very old-fashioned, because at the core of what you do is sales, and sales is about relationship. Bottom line, that never changes. Technology gives you great tools, but if you don't have the ability to consistently build relationship, you're number one, not lead generating, and number two, you are not going to be in the business 2 years from now. So today I wanted to kind of separate some of the efforts you guys are doing and look at some of the things that are ultimately going to be successful for you. So very briefly, I want to talk about branding. Branding is what makes you stand out from your colleagues. Branding can be a saying, it can be a logo. Branding says, the brand is a name, term, design, or symbol, any other feature that identifies one seller's goods or service as distinct from those from other sellers. So what is your brand? What comes to mind when the consumer thinks of you and your service? As a realtor, you are your brand. I mean, you really are. You don't have a unique widget. We all sell houses. So what is our brand? It's you. And it's not just the physical features, which is the logo, team or group name that creates a brand, but what we want and need to recognize that it's the feelings that consumers develop towards you based on what they see. And that's through social media, other marketing efforts, and of course, client service. This combination of physical and emotional cues is triggered when they are exposed to the name, the logo, the visual identity, or even the message that's communicated. So one of the things I would tell you each to invest in, if you haven't already, is a logo of some sort. It's not expensive to do. There's several online resources to do a logo, or you can, I have a local company that I've worked with for years that I send them an email and say, I need a logo for this, and they'll put someone to work on it. But a logo does a couple things. It establishes your brand, but in addition, it makes you look bigger than you are. You know, I always laugh about the time that I was sitting in Shirley's office and someone called and asked for the human resources director for Downsize Columbus. And I went like this. But the fact is that the brand made us look much bigger than we really were. And so again, a professionally designed logo makes you look like you are in the business. A professionally designed logo makes you look like you've been in the business a long time. And it gives you street credibility to know, to be able to do this. And has anyone had a logo designed? Dave, what did it cost you?
Nothing.
Okay, where'd you get it done?
One of the local title.
Okay, how about you?
Nothing.
Where'd you get it done?
Here.
Here, who? Do you know who did it? It doesn't matter, but okay, anybody else? Do you have a logo?
I paid a friend to do it.
Okay.
To support him, but he did a whole bunch of design for us. It was like $100 for everything. Yeah.
Why aren't you doing it? You know, I mean, I feel like I got ripped off. I paid $500 or $600 for mine, but again, no, I have a great company does it. But again, they gave me a whole suite of black and white and color and icons and all that sort of stuff that I have now used for 5 years. Now I'm actually getting to the point of thinking we need to update it. But again, it's on everything we do. It's on every piece of graphics piece we go out, everything, because again, that's the brand. So you've already seen how inexpensive that is. That needs to be job one on your list, is to begin establishing your brand by setting you apart and getting a logo done that you can use on your business card, on print media, things like that. It just makes you look bigger than you are. The other thing I would very much caution you at is you should always be mindful of everything you do is establishing your brand. And that's where social media comes in. You need to always be mindful of everything you put on social media, even if it's your personal page or your business page, it needs to represent your brand. Why? Because you are your brand. You don't work for IBM where you can pass off a distasteful post for, oh, that guy that works over there in human resources, I can't believe he did that. You are your brand. So sometimes you do things on a personal nature on your personal page and you think it's okay because it's not my business page. It is not okay. You don't want anything on your personal page that does not reflect what you want your brand to say. If you were to ever go down my personal page, you will know nothing about me except that I sell real estate and I love my kids. That's it. There is nothing on there that in any way expresses an opinion that I wouldn't want everybody to know. Because if you're online, everybody knows. And I am like your mother, shocked and mortified about what I see realtors put online sometimes. And I'll show my husband and I think, who would work with that? I mean, really, when you begin to hear, and let me just say here, it's not, I don't mean politics. I mean pictures that agents put of themselves, things they say they're doing, the language they're using. Now you can call me a Puritan, but I make $1 million a year. So listen to me. Don't do that, okay? You want your page to reflect you. Because if you are the realtor, you are your brand, and you want people to see you as a professional, as somebody they can trust, and someone that they want to work with. And you never know who's looking at you. You never know who's picking up that post. So again, you want to have a brand, you want to stand out, but you want to be top of mind all the time. Again, we are not in a job that we go home at 5 o'clock and we are no longer identified with that job. You are your job. You are your brand. You are your business. So everything you do and everything you show the public reflects on your brand. And so you need to get into the habit of recognizing that and out of a college mindset that says, oh, well, everybody will think this is funny. Okay, they might, but again, once you are marketing yourself, that humor also may work against you. The next thing I'm just going to touch on briefly is marketing, the avenues of marketing that you have. The purpose of marketing is to bring your brand and what you offer as a realtor to a general or targeted audience, okay? So again, we have our brand, who we are, then we have marketing, which is the tools to get that brand out of there. So tell me, I'm just curious, which by the way is one of the hardest things realtors have to do, because many times it's expensive and you're trying to earn money. What are some marketing efforts anybody here has done, successful or not?
I just had I'm a lead volunteer for Tanya.
Okay.
So I have business cards done up, and on the back, it says that a portion of every transaction I do is going back towards the cause.
Okay.
Tanya. So I have picked up 4 leads already just from today.
And who do you hand them out to?
Everybody.
Everybody. Okay, good. Good. Anybody else have marketing efforts that you want to share that is, or if you don't have marketing efforts, tell me why. What are the reasons? What are the challenges and the roadblocks between you and marketing? Yeah.
So some of the marketing I want to do is more expensive. And so that's one of the roadblocks.
Okay. And that's everybody's roadblock.
Right.
So again, next, anybody else have anything that they would like? Okay, let me address that, because Nathan's absolutely right. That's the reason most of us don't do it. It's the catch-22 of real estate. You can't market because you don't have money, and you don't have money because you don't market, okay? So one of the first things I would tell you to do is to get in the habit of taking a percentage of every commission and putting it into an account for marketing. I don't care if it's $100. Once you sell 10 homes, you've got $1,000 to put towards marketing. Because here's the truth about marketing, and it's a simple truth, but it's one that we have trouble believing. And that is the purpose of marketing is to bring you more business. We don't sell Tupperware, we sell houses. So it's not hard to make back $1,000 that you invest. When I first got into the business back in 1996, my background was radio and television. So radio was a natural for me. I could go talk on the radio and advertise, but radio is very expensive, okay? So first of all, I waited 2 or 3 years to make sure I knew what I was doing before I started advertising. But then I jumped in the pool, and I don't even remember that first year, but it was probably around $1,000 a month that I was paying in radio advertising. And when I did it, it was a very hard check to write. In fact, I don't remember, but I'm sure I put some of it on credit cards, okay? Just to get the advertising out there. And I can also tell you that it did not pay off for probably 6 months to a year. In other words, it was writing that check every month with nothing happening. And then a phone call came here and a phone call came there. Today, 25 years later, I spend $3,000 a month in advertising, and about every fourth client I have is off the radio. It now is a marketing effort that I will not let go of because it's 25% of my income, and I am making 10 times as much as I invest on radio ads. But here's what happens, and I get this from realtors all the time. Realtors will say, hey, so-and-so told me to call you because I'm thinking of doing radio. And I'll say, okay, and they'll say, yeah, in fact, I want to buy advertising in the Ohio State, Michigan Buckeye game, Buckeye game. And I'll say to them, don't waste your money. If you're throwing an ad once at something, or if you're going to try it for a month, yay, you're going to waste your money. Just go take your wife out to eat. You're not going to get anything from it. When you jump into the pool of advertising, you have to commit yourself to consistency over a long period of time. So in anything you do, we're talking months and years. Otherwise, you're putting your toe in the water, pulling it out, putting your toe in the water, pulling it out. And the odds of somebody finding you while your toe is in the water is very remote, because the nature of marketing is that they don't need you until they need you. And they probably won't need you when your toe is in the water. And if your toe isn't back in the water in 3 months, they don't remember that your toe was in the water. Whereas if you're doing it consistently, you are branding in their mind. And then when their need is, you're ready to call them. Take a car, for example. You're driving your car around. You have no need for a car. You're not thinking of buying a car. You don't know the name of a car salesman until you get rear-ended. Okay, and then who is top of mind? Who has been consistent in their branding and marketing? Well, I'm going to call Jermaine Lexus. I'm going to call. How did you know to call Jermaine Lexus? Do you remember a specific ad? Do you remember on the radio? No, you don't remember that. They're just top of mind because they kept their feet in the water the whole time. So as realtors, when you begin choosing what you're going to do, I don't care if you spend $100 a month or $1,000 a month or $5,000 a month, but do it every month. Do it long enough to determine, is this working for me? Because if you don't, you just wasted the money and you really never got your question answered as to whether, and let me tell you this, whether or not it's working, you may not know for 6 to 9 months. You might be investing that money month after month without knowing, but your consistency is what is going to pay off. So the first thing I say is save for that. Begin to invest in your business, invest in yourself, and take a little bit of every closing, put it in a separate account, and it might take you a year to get enough to do what Nathan wants to do. It might take a year to get that much money. But now that he's got the money because he saved it, he brings his business up to a new level, and now he begins using that. And I guarantee you that at the end of that year, Nathan's going to have double that amount of money to put into his marketing, whatever it is. So look at what you want to do, whether it be radio or social media or streaming, streaming ads on Sirius Radio, anything you want to do. Look into it. If you don't know what's out there, begin asking people. If you see someone else doing something, pick up the phone and call them. How is that working for you? What does it cost? What is your investment in that? And begin doing your own research so that you know what kind of marketing efforts are not a waste of your time in doing that, or don't fit you. I get calls all the time to put my name on grocery carts. Okay. I don't want to be on a grocery cart in New Albany. I already know that Sandy Raines and Kate and Tony Thomas have New Albany. I don't want to be, I don't want to be the golf course realtor. I've never picked up a club in my life. So again, you find your niche, whatever it is, and then be consistent in whatever you're doing. So again, advertising creates opportunity to connect your brand and services with potential customers. Will your marketing work? It's often hit or miss until you find out what reaches your audience, what works and what doesn't. Unfortunately, that's just the way. I wish I could give you my list of bad ideas, of things that I tried that just didn't pay off, okay? But another thing I've learned in our business is we have independent contractors and we have entrepreneurs. Just because you're an independent contractor does not mean you're an entrepreneur. The most successful realtors in our community are entrepreneurs. And the definition of an entrepreneur is someone who closes their eyes and jumps into a pool and hopes there's water in it. Okay? They're just willing to take the risk. They're saying, I got a great idea. It's never been done before, but I believe in it enough. I'm going to take the risk. And if I lose money, I lose money. Oh, that you. Yeah, and let me tell you, and Nathan, you appreciate this. When I first started in the business, I was doing exactly this. What do I do to get people? And again, because teaching and training is my thing, I said, you know what? I'll do home buyer seminars. Then I looked around and everybody was doing home buyer seminars. Some of you worked more, but there was a time when there was no internet. And so you had to go out and get people to do seminars. And I looked around and everybody was doing home buyer seminars. But I saw nobody doing home seller seminars. So I was with Chiero at the time. I went to the top realtors in my office and said, I'm just wondering, anybody ever done a home seller seminar? And I had the top realtors say, oh, don't waste your time. If you do it, they'll just steal your ideas and do it for sell by owner. So I listened for about 3 weeks and I thought to myself, no, I don't think that's true. I think if you could get a lot of people in a room, they would want to know what tools they have, how our homes sold and all that. So, because I was doing radio in probably 1999, 2000, something like that, I decided to do my first home seller seminar. Did it in February, had 75 homeowners come and listed 10 houses off of it. So I thought, oh, that works. You know, that's an idea that works. So to this day, we have a home seller seminar every February. We did it by Zoom during 2020. And now it has become an annual event that when I run into people, they'll say, when's your next home seller seminar? When we do it. Now, if I had listened to everybody who said that's a bad idea, I not only would have lost a lot of money, but I would have lost that part of my brand that's doing that. So what you have to be willing to do is to believe in your ideas. It doesn't mean be careless. It doesn't mean do things stupidly, but it means just because someone hasn't done it does not mean that that's not the way to do it. All of the top realtors in our market right now, if you give me their name, I can tell you what they did that nobody else did. And it made them as realtors. They had the courage to step out, say, I'm going to spend money on something that nobody else is does, and I'm going to see if it works. Another example, I did start doing home buyer seminars, and but rather than call MI and say, look, would you pay for some postcards and we'll do it in your model home? I said, no, why don't we just send out postcards that don't have any brand on them? Just say, do you want to know how to buy a home? And come to the Gehenna Library or come to the Worthington Library for a class. And I would spend $5,000 to $7,000 sending out 10,000 postcards, and I'd get 50 people in that class. Again, 50 people raised their hand and said, I want to learn about buying a home, and I'd pick up 4 or 5 buyers off the class. Now, and this is funny, those of you who are realtors will get this. I have taught a class on how to do a home buyer seminar probably 20 to 25 times in my career to realtors. The Columbus Board of Realtors has me do it. Remax had me do it. Keller Williams had me do it. And I had a realtor pull me aside once that day and say, why do you do this? Like, you're giving away all the tricks of your trade. And I said, well, one, there's enough business for all of us. So it doesn't worry me. But the truth is nobody in that class is actually going to do it. And the truth is because they listen until I get to the point where I say $5,000 and they say, I'm out. We're not going to do it. Because the attitude is, well, I want to know people are going to come to my party before I plan the party.
Right.
And it doesn't work. It doesn't. And so then what they do is, well, yeah, Kathy, I listened to you, but my friend over here at MI said they'll send out the postcards and we can have it in their model. And so now you get cheesy postcards with MI all over it that come to a model which people won't go to because they know they're going to be sold. And so I say, all right, go ahead. I have your kids. Go ahead. And then they'll come back to me and say, gosh, I'm glad I didn't spend any money. Nobody came. And so again, part of good ideas is the willingness to put your funding behind it, even if it takes you a year to get there, so that you can say either, boy, that was a bad idea, or Absolutely, 20 years later, I'm still doing it because it's 25% of my income now. Because I had the courage to step out on an idea that everybody said wouldn't work or that nobody else was willing to do. So again, marketing is expensive if it's done well, but it is also the bread and butter of your business. It is the gasoline that moves your car when you get out there. Otherwise, all you're going to be doing is picking up a client here, meeting someone at an open house here, all of which is good. But if you want to truly build a business, you've got to find your area of, establish a brand, find your area of marketing, and begin to do that. So now that brings us to lead generation, because a lot of people think branding and marketing are lead generating. And while they do overlap, and you could get a lead from your marketing, or you could get someone call you because they recognize your brand, those elements work together. There is a difference in lead generation. Lead generation is following up on marketing with the hope of connection with the consumer who welcomes your contact because they recognize your branding. Okay, let's say that again. Lead generation is following up on marketing with the hope of connection with the consumer who welcomes your contact because they recognize your branding. Lead generation is not giving Facebook $2,000 to run ads all over. That's marketing. Okay, if all that is doing is your face is popping up on someone's Facebook page occasionally, or Zillow, or anyone you're paying, you can throw that in the marketing category, but it is not lead generation. And let me tell you why most realtors, I'd say, never truly lead generate. The reason they don't is because it's a lot of work, it's not fun, and 99 out of 100 of your contacts are not going to pay off. So let me just say that up front. It's a lot of work, it's not fun, and 99% of what you do is not going to pay off at that moment. I don't mean it forever, but at that moment. So you're looking for that one person that your contact is timely and they're ready to make a move. So most realtors won't do it. I'll tell you the second reason they won't do it is because most realtors still, even though they're in the world of sales, are afraid of being told no. They're afraid of rejection. So they just don't do it. It's much easier to pay Zillow to throw your face out there. You never know if someone's rejecting you and you feel like you're doing something. You know, it's like joining a gym. I can feel like I'm doing something. But unless I go, unless I do it, I'm not doing anything. So again, that's what, so that is paid ads. It's very easy. And if I'm going to tell you the good side of social media, the dark side of social media and sales is that it sucks your money and makes you feel like you're doing anything, when really the real element of sales is still that one-on-one contact, which you're not getting with social media. I read the most interesting article in the Wall Street Journal last week. It said that, that there are hundreds of thousands of sales jobs in the United States going unfulfilled. Major employers are begging for salespeople. And even though salespeople fall just below CEOs and presidents of the United States in making the most money, people are not rushing to fill that job. Why aren't they? So Wall Street Journal looked into it and said, when we did surveys with people, when we asked them how much money they made every year, and this was a secure paycheck every other Friday with benefits that all they had to do was show up at 8 and leave at 5 and do a job, that it took 4.5 times that income to convince them to go to sales. In other words, if you made $100,000 in a job and I offered you $200 to go to sales, you'd say no. $300 to go to sales, no. $400 to go to sales, okay, I'll think about it. And then, now why is that? Because sales is really, really hard. And part of sales is being told no. And part of sales is being rejected. And part of sales is being told, no, I don't need you right now, stop calling me. Okay, that's part of sales. And most people will not do that. They'll stay in the safety of their 9-to-5 job before they will ever risk someone saying no to them. You know what my motto is? Go until you hear no. Okay, so if you are on my database, you're going to hear from me until you tell me to stop calling you. And I don't mean I bug you, and I don't mean I'm creepy, and I don't mean I all over you, but I'm going to assume that at some point your car is going to get hit behind and you're going to need me. And so who are you going to call but the last person you heard from? And that's going to be me. Because I am going to follow up with lead generation, not just throwing my face out there, but really effective lead generation to make sure that I'm on your list. So begin to think of lead generation as relationship. It is not, again, if what you're doing is not building relationship, then you're not lead generation. You might be marketing and you might be spreading your brand, but you are not lead generating if what you're doing is not building a relationship. So let's talk about that. What is that? If your activity does not involve one-on-one contact in some form, you are not lead generating. What is lead generating? It is all the things we don't want to do. It's phone calls, it's text, it's open houses, it's door-to-door contact, it's cards and letters, seminars and in-person gatherings, which I've built my business on, and it is digital media. Let me start with digital media since we've talked about that. The digital media must be long-term and systematic to be effective and used in conjunction with other forms of marketing. So again, while social media is easy, you just pay the bill and it does it, or you get up and do it. It should be a part of your marketing, but ultimately, if you're not taking your digital media and following up in one of these forms, then you're not lead generating. Let me give you an example. One, you talk about what you do in the morning. One of the things I do every morning is I scroll my own Facebook page. What am I looking for? Looking for who had a baby, who had a kid graduate, who had a grandchild, who got married, who has an anniversary, who has a birthday. Why? Because I'm going to send them a card, I'm going to text them, or I'm going to call them. Now, most of you would say, well, I'm going to comment on you, but how many comments when somebody says it's our 30th anniversary? Hundreds. You are buried somewhere in 140 people. How many of those 140 people took time to send a text?
Not very many.
Not very many. Hey, Mary, Kathy Chiero, I saw on your Facebook page, you've been married 30 years. Congratulations, you guys are inspiring. I wish you well, and you guys have fun at going out to dinner tonight. Who did that?
Not very many.
Nobody. That's lead generator right there. Now, did I say I'm a realtor? After dinner, call me if you want to buy a house. No, no. All I did was insert myself in their lives, okay? By making myself known. So again, that phone call, that text, and again, you'll learn by age or by who they are. I have some people that I pick up the phone and call. Hey, I just saw that you're retiring. Congratulations. Make sure you give me your forwarding address because I want to stay in touch with you. Okay, so again, my lead generation starts at 7 in the morning when I'm scrolling, I'm creeping on Facebook to find out what's going on in people's lives. One of my clients that just sold her home, I saw that she published a children's book. So I had no idea. So I texted her and I said, I am so impressed. Tell me when your book is available on Amazon. I'd love to buy a copy. And I will. I'll buy a copy. Again, I like her page. I could do that, but who reached out? Who reached out and said that? So again, that's lead generation. Open houses, you have no money. One of the best ways to lead generate is to do an open house. We had an open house on one of our listings last weekend that 40 people came through. Now, 30 of those noted that they had a realtor, okay? 10 of them said, no, they don't have a realtor. So let me tell you what most of you are gonna do. You're gonna take that list, you're gonna call the ones without a realtor. They're not gonna answer, you're gonna leave a message, you're gonna text and all that. You don't hear from them in 2 weeks, you either lost the list or you don't know where it is. You're never gonna hear from you again. So what we do, Mary, tell them what we do.
After the open house, yes, we definitely follow up and just thank them for coming. But then on our team, we have a Brandon who stays in constant contact with them. Just because Brandon does, doesn't mean that I myself don't too. I'll keep in touch with them and we put them in a system. We have top producer, so that way we know when to follow up with them.
Yeah. And again, we go until you hear no.
Yeah, no, and I was gonna say, no just means not now.
Yeah.
That's all it means.
So again, the book I handed out to you, that little thing. This cost me about $2 a book, okay? This is incredible for lead generation. I don't have it on here, but I have my team put a little pocket with their business card in it. They take these to open houses, they hand them to everybody who comes to an open house. What is that? One-on-one contact. I only have 30 seconds with you here, but here's a quick book. If you're frustrated with the market, here, read this book. This will be helpful to you. What does it do? It first of all, it's great to get something free. In the back, it has our pictures. It establishes them as an expert in the business. And again, it's one thing that no other realtor out there is doing. So again, it sets them apart. So open houses, I know some of you don't like doing them, or you say it's a waste of time. It's only a waste of time if you waste your time. You get in there and you have a system in place to find out who's coming through, making sure that you follow up with an email, thank you for coming, make a phone call 2 months later. Hey, I met you at that open house in Worthington. I wanted to let you know a great house came on the market just down the street. Would you be interested in seeing it? So again, that's what it works with. Door-to-door contact, really tough. And again, that is neighborhood specific. One of my assistants a few years ago knocked on doors in a neighborhood and got a listing out of it. And the homeowner said to me, I figured if that kid was out here at 90 degrees in July, that's who I'm gonna list my home with. Because he came out, introduced himself, said he was lived in the neighborhood and he was looking for that. Cards and letters are my favorite thing. I gave out to you examples of what I did this week. These all went out this week. I looked it up this year to date. I've spent almost $700 on stamps. That is thousands of letters, okay, that have gone out. There isn't a day that at least 10 to 12 letters are not in my mailbox to be picked up by the post office. Why? Because it is one-on-one contact. And so I gave you a few examples of things that went out this week. Another way I use it with social media is that when I see it's someone's anniversary, I put it into my data management system. So next year I remember their anniversary. Same thing with birthdays. Every time there is a special event, I make a note of it so that when I'm doing my CRM, doing my follow-up, it tells me a week ahead of time to send a note out to them, and I do it. I send a note. If they are not letter people, I'll shoot them a text. Hey, I heard I saw you got a new job. You'll be great at it. You know, if you need a referral, let me know. I'd love to. Again, just that personal touch there that goes out. I want to show you. This is a life of a lead. And I'm sorry, it didn't fall right on thing, but I want to show you one other thing Carol said this morning. This is not quick, okay? What you're doing is building a pipeline. I know you want every contact you make to turn into a client, but you've got to make 500 contacts to get a client. Now, if you are consistent in your lead generation, if you are sitting down every morning and blocking off time to write letters and make comments and text people, you are in the process of building that pipeline. Because when it starts coming in, then you have literally months behind you of doing this. So this is one of my listings that just closed yesterday. I want to tell you that I first met them in March of 2017. They came to Downsize Columbus. So again, marketing and branding at that point. In fact, I don't even know that I met them in person. We just have a record that they came to the event that year. Between March 2017 and July 2021, again, because we use our data management system to know, we know that they attended 6 seminars. In that time, through myself and Brandon, they had 17 phone calls, 11 emails, 4 call cards, and 3 in-home visits. And that was over a period of 4 years to get that listing, okay? Now you say, oh my gosh, does that mean my first listing is 4 years out? It might be, but once you do this on a regular basis, you have all of these coming in your pipeline so that you begin to you're going to get to the point in your business where they're calling you, you're not calling them consistently, but it starts with your marketing and branding, what you're doing. And then all of this is all lead generating right here. This is saying, I'm not going to assume just because you came to my seminar that you're going to call me as your realtor. We learned that real quick. We did 4 years of seminars before it occurred to us that just because they came to a seminar, they weren't going to use us as a realtor. We began seeing all these people that came to our seminars with their homes listed with someone else. So we said, how do we fix that? Well, we've got to be much more consistent in getting back with them. So we set up a system of follow-up that eventually ends up, and my paycheck on that is $10,000. So I got paid 10 grand over 4 years for that client. So again, what is necessary to make lead generating successful? Consistency, repetition, commitment to the long term, and a system. You can't just do it fly by night. You've really got to use command, use whatever follow-up system works for you, and it needs to be a part, and you hear this in bold all the time, it needs to be on your calendar. Because if it doesn't, I guarantee you, you're going to go 3 weeks without a single contact. You're going to go 3 weeks and you're going to say, oh my gosh, I've not done any of this. You guys can't see this, but I want to show you, this is my calendar. This is this week, this is last week. And you can't see it, but I'll tell you right here, we use Top Producer, just because I'm old and I haven't learned to command. But anyway, Top Producer is blocked off right here. Top Producer is blocked off right there. Top Producer is blocked off right there. Altogether, you're probably looking at 3 to 4 hours last week that I committed to doing lead generating, making phone calls. Now, some people like to do it on Monday morning, you get it all done. What I do is I look at my week and then I say, where can I fit it? Let's put the white space. Look for the white space, put it in before Brandon throws another appointment on there. Okay, this is this week. Top Producer, and Top Producer. I did it right before I came here today. Again, that tells me that hour is blocked off to get online. And then up here, this tells me, it's just the way Top Producer does it, that I have 11 contacts to make with somebody. I have 20 over here are my past clients. These are people that may or may not have ever sold a home with me, but maybe they attended a seminar, they came along, that's there. This is past clients, and this is anniversaries, birthdays, and I also send a card out for their house anniversary there. So before I get into that, I'll tell you real quickly, because I know our hour is up. But anyway, one of the things is be prepared for that. I buy this box of cards. I probably bought 50 of them through Amazon. Hallmark, it is 20 cards. It's not the quality you buy at Giant Eagle, but they're not cheap either. I order these, so I always have birthday cards around. I always have anniversary cards. And I always have my own team little note cards. These will cost $50 at Vistaprint. And remember what you're going to do when you leave the class? You're going to go have a logo made, and then you're going to get on Vistaprint and have these printed up, and you're going to pay $60, and you're going to look like IBM because you have these little cards that you send out to people. And then I had this card made, again, Vistaprint, Happy House Anniversary. And I say on here, let me get my glasses on, let me know when it doesn't fit, okay? And I left room here for me to write a quick note, okay? Hey, can you believe it's been 5 years? Can you believe it's been 13 years? Can you believe it's been, love to help you when you're ready to go. Again, how do I sit at home and remember these? No, Top Producer tells me so-and-so has lived in their house, their anniversary is coming up. One of the things you can do, because if you don't have a lot of clients, you have time, is go into your management system and go up and look at people you sold houses to, get their anniversaries logged in there. So you know you can begin doing this. Begin watching your social media, plug their birthdays in there. I have people who think I'm the most thoughtful person in the world because I remembered their birthday for 5 years. You know, and I'll tell you right now, if I worked at UDF, they'd never get a card from me because I don't remember, I have no idea. But Top Producer tells me it's their birthday, okay? So they get a card. And the point I want to make here, this is not a lot of money. If you take $300, you're stocked for months, okay? Getting this out. This, ladies and gentlemen, is lead generating. This is taking time, 3 or 4 hours a week, So write a note, send a text, say happy birthday, say happy anniversary. Congratulations, your daughter graduated. Congratulations on your retirement, whatever it is. That's lead generating. Because that's one-on-one contact that separates you from everybody else. One of the things I handed out today, one of the things I do every summer, I go out and I buy hundreds of Kappa tickets for the summer movie series. It's cheap, they're $3 a piece. I buy 100 of them, I go on, I start sending out Kappa movie tickets. Hey, Mary and Ken, I hope you're having a great summer. Here's some, I don't know if you're familiar with Kappa movie, go see one, they're great. Do I care if they go? No, it's a contact, it's lead generating, it's getting you there. So next month, Chuck gets a phone call, he's being transferred. Didn't Kathy just send us those Kappa movie tickets? What happened? He got rear-ended, okay? And all of a sudden life changes and he remembers who it was that had the most recent contact with him. This is the next thing when again, just to show you, and I don't know if you can see this, this was my list this morning of all the people I needed to call and contact. And you'll see here, it says ready to go active. That's someone who's getting their home ready to sell. How's the house cleaning going? Those are hoarders who will never sell. This is, you can't see that name, can you?
No.
Okay. 6-year house anniversary. That card went out today. This is one that this homeowner wants me to call, get back in their house listed. Here's a 35th wedding anniversary. Again, so go through all that. Before I handed the cards to my husband on the way out the door, honey, put those in the mailbox, those need to go out today. On birthdays, I do it the first of every month. I sit down and I do birthday cards for the whole month, where I put the stamp, I put their birthday, and when the day comes up, I put a stamp over the birthday and put it in the mail. Okay, so again, I'll always have a stack on my desk of birthday cards that are going to go out in a timely manner as their birthday comes up. Now, they don't call me and say, oh, that was so thoughtful of you. Sometimes they do, but no, they don't, and I don't care. That's not the point. The point is, in any given year, I have a almost 5,000 person database, and in any given year, they're going to have at least 8 contacts from me or someone on my team. Somebody's going to, and a lot of those are me. Probably 3 or 4 of those are me contacting them. But it is systematic, it is consistent, it is every day, and it is a pain in the ass. I mean, it is. It's the hard part of sales, is getting out there and just knowing you have to do that every day. This is another life of a lead. This is a home that almost was closing next week. In March of 2016, these homeowners attended Downsize Columbus. Between March 16 and June 2021, 6 phone calls, 8 emails, 3 cards, and they came to 4 of my seminars. So they listed their house with me. This is their next door neighbor. He's out mowing his lawn and he sees the commotion next door. He asks neighbor about his realtor. Branding, that's where branding comes in. Because, oh yeah, we know Kathy Chiero, she did marketing and we met her at Downsize Columbus and blah, blah, blah. Okay. He calls me, 2 meetings, 3 phone calls, 1 note in the mail, listed their house. Okay. So again, that sounds, oh, that's great. You got 2 listings, took 5 years. That's 5 years of follow-up to get those. Now, what are their names? Jim and Sandy, would they have called me if they just attended Downsize? Maybe, probably not. Because in 5 years, they certainly would have run across another realtor at some point. But after 6 phone calls, 8 emails, 3 cards, attendance at 4 seminars, a partridge in a pear tree, I am their realtor, okay? They're gonna come. So again, it's consistent. Do I have to wait 5 years for the next? No, because I've done it every freaking day now for over a decade. Someone's coming through the pipeline who's going to be, who is going to be my next listing or my next contact. So again, let's look at this again. What makes lead generating successful? Consistency, repetition, commitment to the long term, and a system. God put a system in place where you are going to learn to do this every day of your working life and watch it pay off. It is lead nurturing as much as it is lead generating. It is nurturing through phone calls and texts and open houses and door-to-door contact cards and letters, seminars, gatherings, digital advertising. Again, whatever fits you. Some of you never want to get up in front of a group and talk, so that doesn't fit you. But someone else might have really good talent at open houses. You're able to meet and greet and get them to be your best friend, and then they call you and they return your phone call. Some of you may be very good at cards and letters, putting notes in the mail. Whatever it is, you just have to do it. And you got to get creative with it. I know Carol's talked about doing a little bit of how to sell your house. There's a wine shop near her house. It's brand new business, small business owner. And she said, why don't we come here and I'll have a wine tasting while I talk about people buying a house. So again, getting creative. Now, would that be successful if she just threw out a bunch of ads on social media? Maybe, maybe not. It would be much more successful if she knocked on doors and said, hey, I'm new in the neighborhood and there's a guy that has opened a cool wine and cheese shop. I'm a realtor and we're going to talk about the housing market next Thursday night at 6, and I just wanted to personally invite you. Don't you think they're much more likely? Even if they don't come, she just identified herself as a realtor in a neighborhood who is trying to help out a small business, and she's nice and friendly and everybody likes her. So again, yeah.
We've done that before, and when someone asks how much it costs, I just say, you guys just have to bring a friend. And so I doubled my attendance just by just saying, just bring a friend that you think might get something out of it too. And it's like, well, what are they gonna say? Like, hey, I'm going to a wine tasting Friday, I want to go by myself. That's it. Most people just don't want to go by themselves. So that's the other thing, is you'll double your attendance. And you want to be careful there too, because if it's really fun, like a wine tasting, like you're gonna pack the house. But like, if someone asks how much it costs, if someone asks how much it costs, just say, you know what? Just bring a friend and I'll get you in.
Yeah.
Like, make it special for them. But then you get twice the people that are showing up, and it's kind of like it's just a really good little fun trick. You got to be creative. You got to find your niche, and unfortunately, you have to spend some money. So as you're selling, that needs to be part of your budget. Is you're going to pay the electric bill, you're going to pay your mortgage, and I need to set aside some money to build my business. And again, if you're in this for the long term, you do $200 a month, you've got $2,400 at the end of the year to invest. That's pretty good. You could do some good marketing with $2,400 to be able to put in there, but it's got to be purposeful and it's got to be a priority. And again, it has to be what you do day in and day out. Otherwise, you'll let it lapse. And I've been to meetings like this, and everybody goes out all energized. Oh, we're going to go do this, and then you get back into your habits and you don't do it. And the ones that succeed in this business are the ones that learn. It just has to be done. It's part of your job. If you had an employer standing there watching you, you would do it because that's your job. You are your employer, so you need to have the discipline to sit and do it. All right, questions. Anybody have questions? Yes, David.
When can I take you to lunch? No, it's absolutely amazing, and if everyone is not taking at least 5 things away from this 1 hour's worth of conversation, shame on you.
Thanks, David.
I don't know. You know, I've got pom-poms for you. I'll cheer you all, so.
Yeah, well, again, David, I appreciate that. He's love hugs. He's one of the best as well. But again, when you look around and you look at the people who've been in the business 20 years and 25 years, there's a reason for it. And I always tell the story of Mary Ann Ricano out in Pickerington. Some of you, she's close, I think she's 106, so she's close to being retired. But Mary Ann, to this day, I don't think knows how to work a cell phone. But I'll tell you what, you go into Pickerington and you try to market, and they'll say, oh, Mary Ann Ricano's our realtor. Because the one thing she's good at is she does know how to build relationships. And she doesn't forget a grandkid's birthday, and she doesn't forget someone's wedding anniversary, and she remembers every client she ever sold a house to. And I'll tell you this, I love the technology. I'll tell you the story. I got my feelings hurt because I made a post and someone put the word goat, and I thought they were calling me a horned sheep. So I texted my son and I said, someone said I was a goat. What does that mean? And my son just goes back in all caps, Mom. But that's how not I am. All of these tools are great. They are great for use to enhance your business. But if you cannot meet a stranger and within 30 seconds they're telling you about their divorce, you've got to develop that ability of building someone's trust. That's what open houses are all about, by the way. Open houses are the ability to build trust in 30 seconds as somebody's coming by the kitchen island in your open house, that they want to hang out and talk with you, that they don't feel like they're being sold, that you give them something of value, and they walk out saying, if I'm going to buy or sell, I want to use that person that's doing it. That's what sales is. And so until you really got to work on that ability and nurture that ability, or you certainly are going to be lost in the crowd of 7,500 agents in Central Ohio who probably only sold two houses this year. And you don't want that, to do that. All right, terrific.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Everybody's looking for an open house this weekend. I've got 2 listings and no one's stepped up to take them yet. So if you are interested, I'll be sitting in the bullpen here in 5 minutes. 1, 2. There we go. I got 4 spots there.
Yes.
I got it.
All right, well, David,
Are you supposed to leave somewhere talking?
PowerPoint?
All right, you better get it.
If anybody wants a copy of the PowerPoint, I'm gonna put a list up here and I'll email it to you. If you just give me your email address. Yeah, put it on there so I have it all in one place and I'll lose it.
Use this beautiful green pencil.
I'm Jacob.
Hey, I'm Nathan Price. Nice to meet you.
Great meeting you. Also, great information.
Oh,
I
yeah.
learned a lot from you.
I feel like if you can take away one nugget from everything you go to, that is a win, you know? I took away like a big pan full of nuggets today.
You should, do you teach here? Nick?
No, they asked if I wanted to be a mentor also, and
Yeah.
baby steps.
Yeah.
I want to teach a
It
class.
sounds like you've done some things that would be of value, even like things you've tried and learned and what you've done would really be of
I've learned a
value.
lot. I've learned a lot from it.
Yeah, I spent a lot of money on things that don't work.
Yeah, me too. There's a pen too.
Hi, I'm Kathy. Kathy, nice to meet you. Are you new? Okay, good. Well, welcome.
Cool. I want to use the green pen
Yeah, I'm gonna see
since
you.
since I started this.
All right,
Perfect.
I'll go right here.
Found a
I was
pen.
wondering
I committed him to the green pencil, so I figured I better use the green pencil too.
That's funny. That's great. Good. Thank you. It is, Yeah. Did you know what a goat was? No, you know what a goat means? Okay. Yeah. Good. I don't feel like your son, I guarantee you were the all of his office. This is embarrassing.
It took a long time to get
That's right. It's my stories to get there. Yeah. All right, Kathy, you have to get with Carol because she's so. I try not to tell her long.
Yes. I
Yeah. I want your moisturizer. Yeah. For sure.
All right, she is just, her sister. I have mine, her sister. Oh, I don't know, yeah. Her sister was in there.
Thank you, Carol, you did great.
I don't know for sure. I need to find out. Yes, I know she is. She is. Yeah. Oh, what David said. Oh, it wasn't true. So, much later in life, when you're done being an extensions. Yeah, I don't know. You should, if you have interest, should go around and get paid, but what you do,
I would love to do, I actually, like I said, this is what I love doing.
you can tell.
But I love the training, I just don't know, and it's even not about the money, it's the work and building the business that I want to do. I mean, it's a